Hey, how about in 128th episode? How about that?
How about that? We're almost two more till 130, which is the
What
big
is this?
number.
What is the 130? You did this last time.
It seems big. Anyways,
Now
these
I'm
are
gonna expect something from you when we get
mm,
there.
yes. I already wore the shirt that I wear for all the thumbnails, so I don't know what else to do. Maybe 130. It's time to put on a new shirt for a new thumbnail for 230.
Ah,
Ah,
maybe I'll
um,
go through the fucking Weapon X program. Maybe I'll do that.
exactly. Get that adamantium. People didn't watch our wow, nice. Our last My Cup of Tea episode. We came back just a couple of days ago, last weekend, to talk about the San Diego Comic Con, and that was our 127th episode, talking SDCC with all the Marvel, specifically just Marvel, the Marvel panel going over Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and Captain America, which all got overshadowed quickly as RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., made his return as Iron. No. He's Doctor Doom. He's
The
Doctor
man
Doom.
in the Iron Mask, if you will.
Exactly. Um, and we talked over our conflicted feelings about Doctor Doom, the Infinity War, the quickness of the Avengers coming together. So if you want to watch our thoughts on that, go check out that episode because we spent a lot of time on that and Deadpool and Wolverine. This is going to be our big review episode, but we did a lot about Deadpool and Wolverine already, so not much on that. Um, so yeah, have your
Can you
thoughts
tell I'm
changed?
happy I got these claws today?
Where'd you get those claws? What are those? Is that from a popcorn bowl?
No, goddamn it! It's special order at an affordable cost, but they're metal.
Wow. Nathan's always struggling for money and he buys claws.
They're very affordable, actually.
What are they, $5
They're
from Toys
very.
R Us?
It's like $5.
That's pretty good.
But,
That's pretty good.
you see shit like this, and it's usually like 150, 300.
Yeah, usually. have your thoughts changed? Oh, nice. Have your thoughts changed about the Robert Downey casting at all since we talked about it 4 days ago?
Um,
3 days
I've
ago?
coped, but also I wasn't like super against it.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm at this rate. I'm just excited to see what villainous performance he brings.
Exactly. And, it's surreal because you're shooting this, I think they said next February, next March, which is just right around the corner. So I'm very curious to see what kind of set photos we glean from the cast. I think one news thing, I think somebody mentioned like the King. I forget what source it was. The King storyline will be resolved in Doomsday. Do you predict like all the Kings just dying in the first 5 minutes of the movie to see how strong Doom is? Dr. Doom is.
That seems so odd. And at the same time, I don't know how they do that. Do you just like make Kang look faceless? Do you?
Good point.
What do you do? Do you just have silhouettes of Kang like from behind? Because you can see through his mask. You can see the face.
Yeah. I doubt they'd bring Jonathan Majors back, but they probably just cast somebody else as a variant of Kang, get killed off, and then introduce Dr. Doom and how imposing he is in the beginning of Doomsday. So, conflicted thoughts aside, I'm with you. I'm still just like coping, trying my best to cope with it. I've gotten a bit more negative against it, but it's like nothing's going to change. I think the salary thing really got me being like, oh, like over $80 million. They did significantly more than $80 million for RDJ alone. I think $80 million was just the contract for the Russo brothers themselves, getting $80 million to come back for both movies, while RDJ was significantly more than that. And I'm like,
you can make Logan with that money.
You can make what?
You can make Logan with that money.
Yeah, Logan. Yeah, I think Logan was like $80-90 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you could have gotten anybody else for significantly less money. Like it's ridiculous. They're probably going above $100 million just for RDJ alone, which is so weird. But that's how the cookie crumbles. But yeah, we're here today to rank. I'm kidding. We're not ranking anything. We're here to talk about some of the movies that we've seen over the summer. We had a lot of podcasts going over The Acolyte, which again, renew The Acolyte because it was a worthwhile, fantastic breath of fresh air for the Star Wars franchise. And I had a lot of fun with The Acolyte, covering all 8 weeks of The Acolyte. That was a blast. So go back and watch our past episodes on Hyperspace Hype for those thoughts. But during the summer, as we reached the end of July, we caught a lot of movies. I think we haven't had a podcast since like May, I think, or something like that. I think. Yeah. I forget what our last podcast. Yeah, but let's talk about TV shows. I think speaking of superhero comic book topics, The Boys season 4 wrapped up last week, 2 weeks ago, last week.
It's been a couple weeks, yeah.
A couple weeks ago, and it ended. And me and Nathan, huge fans of Gen V, which was last year. Gen V season 2 confirmed to be happening in 2025. The Boys season 5 confirmed to be 2026, but then they have multiple spin-offs in production as well for probably 2027 and beyond. They announced that recently. The Boys are doing the what's it called, prequel with Soldier Boy and Stormfront. Yeah, Stormfront, which is really cool. I like the idea. Some people are like, a Nazi as our main protagonist. I'm like, yeah, she was a cool character. And Soldier Boy is racist as hell. Still a cool character. So I'm actually excited to see the news. It doesn't get me like over the moon as like a Gen V stuff, but Gen V I was also very weary of until I actually saw the show, and I was like, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Maybe not all that, but But overall, what were your thoughts on The Boys season 4 as it concluded, Nathan?
I was compelled. Every episode, I was hooked. I was like, oh, I want more. It's a good show. I don't know if you guys knew. So I think I may have liked the season more than others, I suppose. But I was really captivated primarily by the inner turmoil that Butcher was facing with himself. The angel and devil on his shoulders, quite literally, though nobody else can see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, by the way, this is a full spoiler podcast. We're gonna go full spoilers on The Boys, full spoilers on everything we talk about, like Twisters, Longlegs, The Boys, presumed innocent spoilers. So if you didn't watch the Apple procedural serial limited series, now it's not a limited series show. Full spoilers for everything we're talking about. But if you're watching, make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I'm with you, dude. I enjoyed it. I still think it's significantly, not significantly. It's easily my least favorite of the seasons. If I had to rank, I'd probably go season 2 was so good. I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, 4. I think is the move. It's between 2 and 3. I couldn't tell which one is better. Because they all got samey after 2, but like 3 also had Soldier Boy, which was just a very great character. Soldier Boy, and then the whole thing of Black Noir was really cool. Homelander and Giancarlo had some great scenes in season 3. I really liked the dynamic of the team in season 3. Yeah, I might go 3, 2, 1, 4 for my ranking. How about you?
I'd probably go Gen V.
No, Gen V. If I include Gen V as number 1.
Yeah. But yeah, then I go Boys season 3 and the rest, because I watched these once when they air, and then
what are you talking about?
Long, and I can't like remember my true feelings to compare them. I really can't.
Wow. Okay, you're wrong. That's good.
It's not wrong. That's just memory.
Yeah, you're wrong.
This is core action of recency.
I forgot. Did you binge it all, like to catch up or something, or did you watch it as it aired?
I think at the time I ended up binging season 1, And then when I binged all season 1 and then half of season 2. Season 2 was airing at the time. Then I was watching that weekly, and then I came right around to watch weekly for season 3, and then I did a binge halfway catch up of. Well, no, they dropped like a bunch of episodes at once for Gen V, didn't they?
Gen V? I don't think so. I think the first 2 episodes at least, or at most.
Maybe it was just that. But I remember watching that weekly as well. So I've
Yeah.
been consistently weekly since 3.
Gen V was a phenomenal weekly watch. It was a great surprising show. I still just love it. And speaking of Gen V, I liked how they used Kate and Sam. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Kate and Sam this season as well. I was kind of nervous. I was like, okay, I want Gen V, because it was so special by the end of Gen V. I want those characters to remain special within their section of the universe and not be too integrated with The Boys season 4. But I like how Kate and Sam were drinking the Vought Kool-Aid. It felt very much like an elevation of their roles in season 1 of Gen V. I liked everything they had to do. I think easily the best part about the finale of The Boys season 4 was the last 5 minutes for me. I mean, like what seeing Sam come in and grab Kimiko while Kate hypnotizes Frenchie, and then she gets to finally say her first words, which was emotional. I was like, because I haven't really been so emotionally invested in this season for some reason. I just I wasn't really like hooked on a certain emotional arc. We'll talk about it, but like unlike other seasons where I was just kind of emotionally invested in the relationships, this season I was like, what's happening here? But those last 5 minutes really got me with Kimiko. I'm like, okay, especially with the whole Frenchie dynamic really coming to the forefront in the finale in the last 2 episodes, which was great. So that was great. She finally says, like, I think no, right? No, come back, something like that. Maybe just
no repeated.
Just no repeatedly. Yeah. So it's gonna be great to see Karen's beautiful voice in the final season.
I always go so long without hearing her voice because of the show that when I hear her, I'm like, oh my god, she's so bubbly.
Yeah, she's great. Like I listen to her. Like I do all the interviews. I don't do interviews.
She has a YouTube channel. She doesn't do much on it recently, but
she did some cooking stuff in like season 1 and 2 with the actress that played Annie, plays Annie. So yeah, she's a phenomenal actress. I love her and everything she's in. So it's gonna be great to see her use her voice and elevate her character some more. I think Kimiko is a really strong character. I liked her arc in season 4 as well, dealing with the shadows of her past. As cliche as it was, I liked her dealing with why her voice got taken away, her lack of freedom, even as a kid. Growing up in those brutal circumstances was great to learn. Coming across the person that she scarred as a child soldier, per se, was really cool. And then, I think the weakest part, there was a couple weak points for me for season 4. Frenchie and Kimiko, like, I liked them. I think we talked about it off air, where I'm like, they told me they're not like, their brother and sister, stuff like that. Even the director came out and was like,
who said that?
Literally, Eric Kripke, the writer of the freaking show, came out and says,
I didn't hear that.
Watch season 3 of the show to understand the brother and sister. So I was like, okay, if you're gonna pull off the brother and sister stuff, fuck, whatever. At this point, I think he was just trying to avoid spoilers for his own show. He was like, just wait and watch, basically. People were complaining, like, I thought this was gonna be a romance, and he can't say like, well, they kissed by the end of the season. Just wait. You can't really say that.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it now in hindsight. But I was fine with it either way because I don't trust shows to have romance these days. Besides, like, that's why Acolyte was so great because I'm like, oh shit, we're actually getting enemies to lovers. That's such a big surprise because not a lot of shows do romance well. You have to wait to see animated shows like X-Men '97, stuff like that, do like a good animation or a good romance. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But then, they finally kiss in the penultimate or the finale episode. I forget which one it was now. Like Nathan, it all blends together. Bitch,
I'm sorry I haven't watched The Boys season 1 since 2019.
I haven't either. I might have rewatched a couple times, but my brother was rewatching, so I rewatched a little bit with him. Anyways,
plane crash.
tragic crash.
Something Robin. Such a shame.
So when they kissed, I really liked the romance between Kimiko and Frenchie. I wish it was more developed because for some reason they gave Frenchie
4 seasons, Evan.
No, at least in the story arc of this season, they separated them for no smart reason, in my opinion.
I think they went on a similar self-isolating journey that they end up bonding over to come together and heal together through.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't vibe with the whole.
Yeah, I know they wrote it, but I don't believe it.
I know that was the point. Yes, they go on individual arcs. They come together. Boom, they're better together. Yes, on paper that should work. On execution, it was boring, uninteresting, and not really fulfilling. You have Frenchie. You have Frenchie.
What else do you hate?
A lot. But well, I'll get to that. But you have Frenchie having this whole stricken arc in the first 2 episodes where he's like having sex with this guy who we also killed his entire family. That's some dark shit. Yeah. But they argue, and I was fine with it in the first 2 episodes, even though I was like, Frenchie, what the hell are you doing even having any kind of emotional attachment to this guy? You should just walk away. But that's Frenchie. He makes mistakes. They all make mistakes. But then it's like he leaves, he turns himself in, and then he doesn't do anything. And then he just comes back because Butcher wanted him back. It felt very much like it didn't take much for him to get back into the team. So why did he leave in the first place? Nothing was gained from his separation. We literally didn't even see him when he was in jail. We didn't see what he went through at all when he was in prison. So the aspect of him learning or being isolated and missing Kimiko and then coming out the other end when he reunites with her as a better character, I couldn't really feel that change because we were isolated even as an audience from him. We didn't see him in prison. He comes back and he's like, mon ami, Butcher just came back and I'm here now. I'm like, okay, cool. Looks like the whole... I lost all the French audience. I don't care. Welcome to the Olympics. But anyways. By the way, the Olympics are really fun this year. Really, really fun. I love watching it. I have like Big Brother live feeds on one computer, and then I have the Olympics on the big TV. It's great.
Can you imagine the live feeds are just the contestants watching the Olympics?
That'd be great to actually watch. I feel bad for them not knowing anything that's happening. For like the president changes, the Olympic changes. Like they went in the house on July 17th, I think. And since then already, it's just 15 days of chaos has happened in the U.S. and around the world. But yeah, he comes back and he's just like nothing there. It's like, okay. And then he kisses Kimiko and it's like, oh, okay, I guess they are romantically involved, which is great. I like it. But I didn't get a cool, great, complete fulfillment of his arc. Kimiko, on the other hand, was really well done. I don't know. I want to talk this through with you. The whole Huey side of this arc or this story for season 4. He just got really shitted on in this season, and I couldn't tell. I mean, like, I'm just pretty much mixed on it. Like, I didn't come out the other end thinking like, oh wow, Huey did some great stuff this season. I can't really say that. I think his best moment was like dealing with the passing of his dad. Simon Pegg came back and it was really good as like his dad and the emotional turmoil there for Huey. Yeah. The mom angle, I was like, my sus of her, maybe not. That mystery, that enigma of her being sus and not sus was interesting, but it also was prolonged for like half the season. And I'm like, if it's not going to lead anywhere, then what's the point? Hopefully, if she returns in season 5, I'll have a more clear picture of what I'm supposed to glean from her as a character. But for now, I was just like, I'm sus. Maybe I'm not sus. I'm sus. Maybe I'm not sus. And then she ends up being fine for now. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, okay, whatever. And then him just like, it was just like a, effing Starlight's doppelganger, which was crazy. Yeah, getting what happened to him at
Tech Nights.
Tech Knight's cave was wild.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
like we're gonna double this unfortunate scenario for him.
yeah, it's just like unfortunate scenario for what gain? Nothing. It's like this is okay. That's just the universe of the boys. Crazy things happen to Huey. It's just like
Ain't
okay,
it funny?
yeah. It's like isn't it funny? It's like not really. It's kind of just weird. Like the whole Tech Knight episode, the Huey stuff was just boring to me. I'm just like, oh, okay, they're doing some weird shit again. The best part of that episode was the Victoria Newman stuff, which we'll get to. The Victoria Newman stuff, Homelander grappling with maybe I'm not the best politician. And then I forget something else happened at the end of that episode. I forget what it was. But yeah, just the stuff outside of the Huey stuff ended up. That was the episode. The Tech Nine episode ended up being the episode where it was revealed what happened with what's it called, Butcher and the Devil and the Angel reveal. That was the end of the Tech Nine episode. Because I remember thinking like the Huey stuff was boring, but that ending with Butcher, the Devil, and the Angel, perfection, great, loved it. So I loved that. And yeah, what were your overall thoughts on Butcher this season?
I thought his arc was great. I really like the exploration of him trying to do the right thing at nearly every turn with Ryan, even though the setups he had were not. He ultimately overcame those nefarious urges to actually like make a connection with him, and it seemed like it was going pretty well for quite a bit until I very much understand the ending of why Ryan responded the way he did because Mallory went a bit too far.
Yeah, it was, and this is what's so good about this show at times is like these characters are so freaking flawed, deeply flawed characters trying to do the right thing, like you said, but they're so flawed they ended up effing it up. Ryan was in your grasp as a father-son dynamic. It was there. He came to help you at your lowest moment, but then you realize, thanks to Mallory, that Ryan realizes that it's all a trap. And it's like you're going to isolate him again, just like they try to do with Homelander, because he understands Homelander's plight, but he also understands that Homelander, as an adult, is not the greatest parent to look up to in terms of Ryan's perspective. So Ryan was on Butch's side, but then when they started trapping him and giving him no other option, that's when he had to leave. And him killing Mallory was so good, even though I feel bad for Mallory, it's also Mallory's fault to a certain extent, to a lot extent. Like you said, trying to trap Ryan, like you have to defeat Homelander. You are the option.
They were on just before that really good track. Butcher himself was just like, if you feel safer with him, I will understand.
Yes.
It is your choice. And you could probably see Ryan would probably hear Butcher out at that point. And if Mallory had followed suit, the same mindset, we'd probably be okay and we could talk a little more. But she didn't, and this panic starts to set in on this child being trapped. I get it.
I get it completely. And just him just pushing her. I think he like cracked her neck or her face exploded, something like that.
She got thrown against the wall.
Thrown into the wall, yeah. Wasn't great. Bye-bye, Mallory. A person who deeply loved Ryan, as we saw for the first 3 seasons. And he's grown into this very compassionate character. I think as soon as he was introduced in season 1, a lot of fans, especially me who has not read The Boys, I was like, so this is our Homelander deterrent. And I was like, if this show can go on for a while, 4+ seasons, he might be the only ticket to defeating Homelander, just on a physical and emotional mindset. And that seems like what the show is doing. Ryan is the Homelander ace in the hole. Like that's the only person that could probably physically like laser and possibly kill Homelander outside of all this maneuvering with like the genocide gas and super gas, whatever it is. So we'll see what happens with that. Ryan has become a very integral character to the show. I liked a lot of his arc in season 4. I was very surprised because we went into season 4 thinking like, oh boy, if this kid just becomes a Homelander puppet, I'm not going to be happy. But he doesn't. The first 2 episodes, he's kind of acclimating to Homelander's lifestyle and his parentage, which isn't great. Homelander is such an interesting character, continues to be such an interesting character because he had no parents, basically, raised by scientists who belittled him and treated him just like an experiment, basically, that they feared. So he doesn't really have that parenting mindset. Ryan understands that. They try to work things out. It just over time didn't work. And that's what really had him gravitating towards Butcher again. So I was very happy that he just wasn't a puppet of Homelander's, that he actually had a thought of his own, mind of his own, and actually went against him a couple of times this season. Like the whole Thanksgiving episode or Christmas episode where he's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, stop the puppet shit. Like, I'm not doing this. So he went against Homelander and the Vought company as a whole. So now it's wide open for Ryan. Where does he go in season 5? What does he do next? Who does he align with? With Butcher now the villain, fully controlled by his ego, subconsciously speaking, or the devil on his shoulder in Negan. So that's the parasite, exactly. So you never really know what's going to happen there. Butcher, I'm with you. I like Butcher's arc this season. Very much on his last legs as a character, fully succumbing to the evil within him. But also,
he also looked kind of spry in the last episode. I'm not going to lie. By the end,
he what?
I feel like he looked pretty healthy by the last few minutes.
I couldn't tell if the show was telling us by him succumbing to the Vought or to his like darkness, to the Negan stuff, that he could help him live longer. Was that the vibe he was getting? Because he was laying on the deathbed. Negan's like, you got to do more. You got to do more. And I'm like, is the show telling us by like having Butcher succumb to the disease and just die and choose not to be this violent person, he was going to die. But succumbing to the violent person, was it in exchange for helping him live a little bit longer? I'm not sure.
Far worse.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes something way far worse. So he become the villain now, which I thought was interesting. I think it could have been the whole villain arc for Butcher could have been told better. I was just really bummed by the whole Victoria Newman of it all.
Me too.
We talked about it off air. She was our favorite character easily. It's one of the best parts of the show. She is definitely one of the definitions of coming onto a show and just like giving it new life. The boys had room to be very samey. This season, we're going to kill Homelander. This season, we're going to kill Homelander. This season, we're going to kill Homelander. She came in the show, became a different like avenue for the threat of Supes, where she wasn't as like bloodthirsty and crazy as Homelander, but she was more methodical. She had a bit more danger in a sense that like she could get some political power. If she gets political power and is a powerful Supe and knows all of us, she's probably even more dangerous than Homelander, which is why I liked the fact that they were like, this season's all about killing Victoria, not so much Homelander, even though Homelander was still, of course, the biggest threat. But I figured by the end, I was liking the avenue of her working with the team. Victoria, the team coming together against Homelander. Homelander's backed into a corner with just Sister Stage, also a brilliant character, and the Deep, etc. But then they just kill her off unceremoniously. So I mean, that's what the boys is for. And I was just like, oh no! I was like, can her body come back together? There's some blood magic that we can have here, and
can we get some healing, please?
Yeah, there's some blood healing. Like she could defend herself sometimes, but he comes in, Butcher kills her. He's like, "You're welcome," and walks off. I'm just like, now I hate Butcher to the nth degree. Now I just don't care about Butcher. I want him dead, gone, baby gone, dead in a grave. I'm pissed. I'm just beyond pissed at his character, and I was so.
I care about Butcher, but I know he's infected by this parasite. Arguably bringing out like the worst qualities that are probably already within him, but I would want him to be that person that we know he can be, the Huey sees in him that is always seen.
Yeah, it was interesting. This season really went into like, you're fired, Butcher, but then we need you, Butcher. Then why is he here, Butcher? And then Butcher comes back, and we saw a lot of different permutations of Butcher being like this helpful person, this like woe is me person, but also like a caring person. We've seen that numerous times, but then it just succumbed to him in a tragic sense. And it was interesting to see. I was up and down for him most of the time. But by the end, it creates an interesting antagonist to go against our other antagonist in Soldier Boy, who is now returning, and Homelander. Two big threats against Butcher, and the boys are split up. It's like all out chaos as Homelander kind of takes over the world with his political maneuvering thanks to Sister Sage. The plan is set for him to be like this big, over-luring, authoritarian ruler with Sister Sage at his side, and the government's fully backing him. He's talking over like the Speaker of the House and stuff like that. So it's interesting. One of the bigger threats about this from day one was don't let what's Giancarlo's character's name go again?
Who? Butcher?
No, Giancarlo.
Stan Edgar.
Stan Edgar. Like his main plan was to get superheroes into the White House, into the army, into the White House, and Victoria followed that, failed. He followed that, failed, and now Homelander finally has that. He's in the White House per se, in the government, and he's taken over. It's not looking good. But Sister Sage was just another breath of fresh air for the show. I really liked her character. Very funny, intelligent in ways that are very unique. Like she wasn't like she knows all these like numerical knowledge. She knew like people knowledge as well, like how to read people, tell when they're lying, that kind of thing. She was always one step ahead.
She knows all the dominoes are gonna fall.
Exactly. It was a cool type of knowledge. It wasn't just like, oh, I know this is 25 times 55. It's like she didn't have to do any like math knowledge. It was just an overall breadth of knowledge, which was really cool.
So smart to the point that even when like you're seeing like they're trying to convince the audience that Homelander's firing her and that she's like upset about it. She's just playing that bit because she knows she has to, so that we can come full circle to the full plan.
Which is great. Like he's literally like crying in tears. Homelander is, and she comes in like, no. This is all according to the plan. Like you're all good. This is good. Which was great. Like I loved their dynamic. Homelander always has great dynamics every season. Last season it was him and Victoria, and him and Soldier Boy, and season 2 was him and Stormfront. Season 4, Homelander and Sister Sage, great dynamic. Loved them. She was like easily the best part of the season for me, along with Victoria. We also got a new character in the Red, White, and Blue girl. I forget her name. Firecracker,
yeah.
Not great, but not like great in a
not a great person.
Yeah, exactly. Not a great person. And you understand her backstory with the whole like Annie bullied me as a kid and did some bad things to me as a kid, and I'm like, damn, that sucks. That was 10 years ago too. It's like you're an adult now, get over it. But that's what makes a good villain a good villain. It's like villains are people who are incapable of getting over those emotional grudges. And while Annie is clearly flawed, I liked seeing her deal with the consequences of Annie's own actions, creating Firecracker, and like that war of like Annie Firecracker propaganda that was going off throughout the season was really fun. Firecracker is very unhinged. The whole Milk storyline was sickening to watch, and then her taking those pills, and then she was like dying inside in the finale. I'm like, this is gross. This is crazy. But it was still enjoyable to watch. It was very fun.
What I love is that the actors playing these horrible people will be in the interviews and they'll be like, so like, what do you think of your character? And like her actress was like, I think she sucks. I can't wait for her to die. The Deep actor was asked like, how do you hope he dies? And he was like, I hope drowning. That would be hilarious.
I can't stand the Deep. And they made him just more of an a-hole this season.
I thought they were going to kill him.
I hoped they were. I was like, oh, we're finally done with this character. Please just end him already.
Well, this would be a satisfying moment to do it.
Annie goes off. And Annie has to be the one to kill him. And they had the perfect moment to finally do it in this season but they're just prolonging it again. I'm like, damn it, just kill this
I was
guy.
sitting here and I was like, why can't you?
Right? I forget what happened. I was like, she punched him and then they just walked away. And it's just like, are you serious, man?
Well, they knew Noir was coming back up, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have time." Type beat, I guess.
Maybe,
But
yeah.
they also made MM say like, "Do you know how to do it?" Because I don't. And I'm like, "You have Annie, bash his face in."
Annie's right there, who beat his ass already. It's like, come on.
Y'all blew a dude up with a bomb in his ass, man.
Right?
That was the first kill.
But then what's it called? The whole Black Noir stuff was very fun too. He died in season 3 officially, but we got a new character in season 4, which was fun.
Which is also fun to find out that the actor playing Black Noir has always been his actor, and that's his actual like face actor. That's
awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh wow! So
and
he was like the stunt guy.
Narcoleptic?
What?
And apparently he really is narcoleptic, so they added that to the character.
Wow, cool. That was fun. He was in the middle of a fight, just sleeping.
That was great.
And he can like fly. This one
Yeah.
at least. That was cool. So yeah, I liked that really like bro-ish dynamic. But yeah, the deep I'm just getting tired of this guy. Just kill him already. Just kill him. The whole not Gwendolyn Christie.
Tilda Swinton
cameo as the octopus was unsettling, but cool. I didn't mind it. The unsettling part was him just letting her die, gasping for air. I'm like, this guy is sick.
Like, there's nothing left to say. Even when like he was declaring like I'm not sorry in Annie's face and shit, I was like, well, there's nothing redeeming left.
Yeah, nothing redeemable about that character. He just needs to die.
I will say,
yeah,
I've really liked A-Train's journey this season.
Me too. That was one of the more clear, fleshed out, straight and to the point arcs. I really liked his arc. Yes. That was a very big, bright spot. Him coming to his own as a hero, just witnessing him turning in Mother's Milk, to the hospital, the kid smiling at him. Yeah. First time doing something good. I was like, okay, we're doing some good shit here. Him dealing with his family. Just him and have a good dynamic this season. I really liked that storyline. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
I'm happy he got him and his family to safety.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah. So, I'm happy with A-Train. So I was very excited for I'm very excited to see what he does in season 5. What did we hear? Like, Homelander now knows that A-Train betrayed him. But then A-Train's like on the run.
I laugh every time this happens. Every time one of the heroes betrays him, he's always sitting there like, how could this happen? It's like, dude, it's terrible.
It's you. It's always been you. Like Maeve going against him. Maeve, what happened? We were mano a mano. It's like, no, it's just you. You're crazy. Maeve and then Stormfront betrays him, kind of goes crazy.
Noir didn't tell him about his dad.
Yeah, it's just like it's crazy. But at least he has the deep. So overall,
like, all right.
Yeah, even though he gives no care about the deep at all. So overall, yeah, it was a weak season overall for me, but I didn't have I wasn't bored watching the episodes. I was just bored of a couple of storylines this season, and execution of some storylines were just hit and miss. But again, the last couple minutes of the finale, I was like, okay, I'm excited now. I'm excited for the finale or for the final season. It's going to be, according to the writers, apocalyptic in terms of the chaos, and it's going to be even crazier than season 4, which they always say.
Well, but I can believe it.
Yeah, but now, Nathan, I'm like, my show, Gen V, that's like the Golden Goose. Don't touch it. But now the landscape of the world has changed drastically with Homelander being so vital to the government now.
Yeah.
And Kate and Sam being so vital to the Vought team, the 7. What is going to be happening with Gen V? Are we leaving the Gen? Or are we leaving the university? Are we leaving the premises?
I don't know how you go back to the campus. Even after the first season, I don't know how you go back.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a My Hero Academia thing where it's like less so about school now. It's a straight up war And I'm very curious. I think everybody wants Marie to give Newman some revenge. Can we have Marie kill Butcher? That'd be great.
Hey, now
you're an all-star. That's fine.
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they're gonna like kill Butcher and it's like, yeah, we got him. I think it'll be if I need a self-sacrifice instance or something.
You said the S word, Nathan.
Alliteration.
Sacrifice. Yeah, not great. What?
No, I was laughing because I remember in the Scooby-Doo movie, the live-action one, there's a line where Scooby, like someone says a sacrifice, and then Scooby says it, but he can't say S's, he says R's.
It's a rack-a-vice?
Yeah, so I'm sitting here in my brain like, a rack-a-vice? That's so funny.
Wow. Nice to know where Nathan's priorities are, guys.
He's movies. They're fun.
He's excited for the
commentaries.
Scooby-Doo commentaries, exactly. I'm telling you, we gotta watch like those animated movies. The werewolf one is my favorite one. I love that one so much.
Is that the
Zombie Island?
Yeah.
Zombie Island, I think that's peak.
It's like cat people. Like were-cat people.
It was so unsettling as a kid, but I was like, I watched it so many times I got unscared of it. Like when I first saw that, I was just like, oh, the animation is so scary as a kid. But then I watched it more and more.
I burned the hell out of my VHS of Cyber Chase.
Cyber Chase is lit. Cyber Chase is lit. I love that one.
Not the PBS show, Scooby Doo.
Yeah, Cyber Chase also the PBS.
That also slaps.
That also slaps. But which one was Cyber Chase? That one's different from the one with the Scooby and Shaggy falling in love with the alien. That was
I think it was just Alien Invaders.
Yeah, I love that one because I was like, maybe I do love romance. Even as a kid, I was like, I love these two together. But then they couldn't be together.
Cyber Chase with like the blue electric monster dude who chased them through the video games.
That was cool. That was lit. Like whenever shows like connected with video games, like Fairly Odd Parents, the remote saga,
Channel Chasers.
Yeah. That was lit. That was great. The Dragon Ball Z stuff. But also the race car one where they're like racing, like the Mad Max style one. Do you remember that one? It's like a Halloween spooky one where it's like they're all racing. And it's like a different section of a race. I forget what it was.
Maybe if you showed me.
Yeah, I'll look that one up sometime. But yeah, I forget how we got on the subject, but whatever.
All right.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. But yeah, the boys overall. I'm back. I haven't been giving because usually when I watch movies, I give them a score out of 5. And I told myself starting in 2024, I was going to give my TV shows a score. But I watch so much anime, so much TV shows. I'm just like, I can rank and say what show is better than another show. But I can't do like a number. I don't know what I'd give the boys in 4. But overall, it was a mixed season, but some very fun times. Now, a show that I think is one of my favorite shows of the year. You finished it. I think Edgar put it as his favorite show of the year. Presumed Innocent with my boy, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Chili.
I don't know. I was trying something new, Nathan. Is it good?
Get Jilly with it.
Get Jilly with it. You know, if I'm on a press tour, I'll ask him about that.
Jilly?
Yeah, he'll probably pull like a Harrison Ford and be like, "What the fuck," and just walk away.
Harrison's been great.
Harrison's been great. You know, he's been having a lot of fun answering BS questions with BS responses.
Well, asking about anchor beings, he's like, "I'm 616."
Yeah, I'm 6'1". Like, what's going on here? I didn't even think that was going to be an important thing. I was like, are people really talking about anchor beings? Okay.
Who's the anchor being in the MCU, Evan?
Iron Man, because if he died.
If I were to give a real answer.
What?
If I were to give a real answer.
You would say, no. You're going to say Captain America.
No, he's already dead.
Oh, you say someone who isn't dead yet. Spider-Man.
I think Spider-Man, yeah. I think once he becomes like the full-fledged like seasoned hero, absolutely Spider-Man's the anchor being.
Yeah, that makes sense. A character that can't die, so the MCU can't die.
The one day, Evan, he will die, and we will cry. I will.
put this podcast on hold. Put this time on hold for 2040 when we're still doing podcasts, and it's like Spider-Man finally dies.
What a
It's not even that long
year.
now.
What a scary year to say. I will be in my 40s. Don't say that.
Hey, we'll still be alive though. So that'd be fun.
We'll still be alive. Timestamp. Put the timestamp on my grave.
On our grave, like and subscribe.
You sealed our fate on a timestamp.
Yes.
You mean to tell me?
But Presumed Innocent, man. Apple TV has been cranking out some bangers recently. You know, I loved Silo with Rebecca Ferguson. I kind of like Ted Lasso season 1 and 2. I never finished season 3.
Wow.
I'm trying to think what other Apple TV shows did I watch.
Monarch
was great by the end. It was very fun. Flawed, but extremely fun to talk about a show.
Flawed motherfucker every day. Renew it.
Because, you know, I got invested by the end. I was like, okay, we got a lesbian relationship here going on. We have Kurt Russell being Kurt Russell. We have an interesting time skip. We have King Kong up in here. I'm like, you better renew this show. The potential is off the charts. I want to watch our last episode on the finale so I can remember like what I'm excited for exactly for season 2. Because I think there's a lot of like different things that are to be expected in season 2. So yeah, I don't even know when they're going to film.
The dad's older than his mom now, and they're reunited.
That's one arc that was like the dad. The whole time skip with the dad. I'm like, oh,
we have not addressed the two families yet.
We have not at all. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're really bringing back why I loved that show. So,
but also there has been a 2-year skip with the main cast since going in.
So yeah, the son was annoying me, but then like he got on his groove. So that was great. Yeah, everybody watch Monarch. It's a great show on Apple TV. But also is Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal playing one of the biggest assholes of the year so far.
Oh, I thought you were going to say one of the best lawyers, and I was like, yeah, I like Ben.
Yeah, he is a good lawyer. Yeah, I think Ben from Time Blazer, better lawyer.
I was watching this, and I was like, I should probably study this show.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about this. I was like, how much did I get wrong about lawyers based off of this show? Like, you know, the premise of Presumed Innocent, Carolyn, whatever her last name, Rusty's girlfriend who he was cheating on with his wife dies, and when she dies, they're trying to figure out who did it, and all the case stuff goes to the lawyers, Tommy Moto and Rusty, Jake Gyllenhaal's character. Yeah. I'm like, Nathan, am I crazy? No, yeah, are you suspect? Also, where are the detectives? Why did I not see any like core detectives in this show? Like, I've watched 100 episodes of Law and Order. It starts off with the detectives. Halfway through, it goes to the court with like 2 detectives, 2 lawyers. That's Law and Order. I watched over 100 episodes. They're done exactly right. But then this show is telling me like, no, the lawyers know all the caseload information. They're staying up late at night to figure out who did it. I'm like, isn't your job just to defend? And granted, they need the knowledge of the case to defend accurately or attack accurately. But I'm just like, aren't you guys supposed to be detectives? Now, granted, I think the black woman who is like working with early on was a detective, but then she just left him because he was a suspect.
I guess you could chalk it up to like at the point their top suspect is Rusty, and since he is currently on trial, they're unfortunately not taking the time to find the actual culprit. At least that's the setup of Rusty's real irritation throughout the season. And trying to clear his name as well.
I also think, Nathan, we should watch the movie. Have you seen the movie Presumed Innocent?
I just found out about it today, looking for images. With Harrison Ford, I haven't. Is it the same base story?
I have not seen it. My mom has seen it, but I was like, don't tell me what happens. But I wonder if the end result is different. Because I saw people online being like, oh, shit. And I was just like, Is that did the person who did it in the show not do it in the movie? And by the way, this is full spoilers. So we found out in the finale. You finished it, right, Nathan? Yeah,
I did. I finished the show. Yeah.
Okay. We found in the finale that it was the daughter.
It was Tommy.
It was Tommy. And for a second there, I thought it was Tommy by the penultimate episode. I was like, did Tommy? There's no way Tommy did it. That'd be.
I was like, it's some compelling stuff, but also my sidestep because like we haven't focused on it too much. I was like, I think the son did it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Now everybody knows if you're watching the podcast. If you know me, I'm a huge like whodunit mystery guy. Mystery is my favorite freaking drama or genre ever. I love a good mystery. Now I think romance is slowly stepping over mystery for my favorite genre. But anyways, the number one test of like who did it in a show, usually a famous actor or actress, and that's usually for TV shows for like a one episode thing, like Criminal Minds, whatever. If they bring in like an Olivia Colman on a Criminal Minds or CSI episode, she probably did it, or at least she knows the killer. But for a show like this, you have to look at people they introduce early on, and then you don't see at all for a long time. And I'm like, and then they usually like come back at the end. It's like, oh, it was a person that we didn't see for a long time. So I thought it was the father. The kid, I thought was like early on. I was like, okay, I thought it was the kid, but they spent all of like episode 2 or 3 talking about the kid. So I'm like, I kind of doubt it now.
What kept me lingering on it is because like the last we like really touch on it was he was throwing out his bike.
Yes.
And then Jake pulls it out of the trash and throws it into his trunk, and I was like, they're gonna research his house, try to find the bike, and they can't find it. It's like, why is it in the truck? But they already checked his car, so why would they check it again? And I was trying to piece shit together.
Yeah, me too. And I was just like, okay, it's the father, because especially when Jake starts questioning the kid in episode like 7 or 8, saying like, did you not go back home and tell your father what you saw with your videos and stalking your mother Carolyn's house? Yeah. And I was like, that makes sense. He goes to tell the dad. They lie about like the dad not knowing. The dad goes over there to confront Carolyn. The dad kills her, and he's defending his son. That's why he was so mad in the penultimate episode when Rusty was like interrogating the witness, his own son. And I was like, okay, maybe it's the dad. But no, it's within the family. And then when the finale happens, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe the show is going to go an artistic route where it's like the resolution was that Rusty didn't do it. That the resolution, just the fact that he didn't do it, we'll probably never know. And I thought that would have been fun. That would have been artistic, just a mystery of the air. A lot of movies do that these days. But I paused. I was like, we have 15, 20 minutes left. I'm like, they have to resolve this somehow. That has to be a good resolution. And when he corners his wife, and by the way, brilliant performance from Ruth Negga throughout this entire season.
She's really good. I'm excited because I know she's in the show Preacher, and I'm excited to start that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I remember she's got a lot of praise for being in Preacher as well. Yeah. Look at Nathan watching these underrated DC shows, Preacher, Lucifer.
I bought it on sale, so I own Preacher.
Wow. Okay. How many seasons was it? 2?
4.
4 seasons of Preacher?
Yeah.
Shit. Damn. Okay. But it's so weird about like shows like Preacher get 4 seasons. Lucifer got a lot of seasons.
Lucifer got 3, got canceled, and was saved with 3 more.
Okay. With 3 more after he got saved?
Yeah, because it was that popular. Like even in terms of like trying to revive a show, it was like that like worldwide trending. Like, you cannot ignore this level.
Damn. It's like it brings you back to like why shows are getting canceled these days. Where it's like if shows like those like underrated, like not many people watch those shows. Like, why can't we get another season of like Willow or other major shows that Netflix is canceling these days? It's crazy to me.
Even then, what happened to like the era of like Firefly was canceled after a season, but everybody loved it, and they got at least a movie to wrap up.
Yeah, exactly. Mindhunter never getting another season is just baffling to me. It's crazy.
What? I haven't finished Mindhunter yet, but wouldn't mind getting a movie for that.
Yeah, if David Fincher did a Mindhunter movie, Give him the Oscar. That would be awesome. People would eat that up. But yeah, then David Fincher wants to do like a remake of Squid Game. I'm like, David, my guy, what are you doing? This is why Denis better than you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, David. I still love you. I didn't love Mank.
Okay.
But anyways, the call was coming, Nathan, from within the house. And this was crazy and presumed innocent. He corners the wife, and I'm like, how did I not think of this? Like, that would have been crazy if she did it. Like, of course,
I definitely. It popped in my head a couple of times thinking about it.
But then you're like, no, she's too normal.
Probably not. But then he starts introducing like the idea of like disassociating, and I was like, oh my god,
that the daughter introduced.
Yeah, right. It's just the seeds are planted beautifully in this.
I would have never guessed. Never in my life's mind.
I didn't, because again, they're leading like as this is already the reveal of the mother, and you're just like, oh shit, okay. And and you totally get it. You get why.
And she's like, no, you're lying. I'm like,
it's like breaking her mind, and I'm like, oh no.
I'm like, did she do it? Did she not? Is she lying? But she can't fathom that she actually did do it. Like, it was crazy. But then, like, I really want to rewatch the show, and I wonder if there was any clues to see that Jordan, his daughter. I wonder, or is it Jaden? I don't know what her name is. But
Jaden.
Yeah, Jay. I'll just say Jay. And if there was any kind of clue that she was not there that night, I probably would have like sussed her early on. But I didn't get any clue that she was gone from that like 10 to 11 time after he left Carolyn's house.
I mean, I don't know if there was just like any focus at all on like her whereabouts anyway, because we're focusing on other people who are implicated in the trial.
Exactly. And it's like, but one of the main points is that like Rusty came home, she died around this time, and they were going to bring the wife to the stand to be like, how was he when he got home? So we know the wife was home,
right?
Or at least she was home when he got home. So it's like, I wish I just knew the circumstances there, because if Jay wasn't, if they showed us, if there was a footage of like Jake Gyllenhaal coming home from Carolyn's that night, and he like opens the door and nobody's home, or maybe the son's there but nobody else is home, I'm like instantly sussing the wife and the daughter. Yeah. If they're not home when he gets home, instantly sus. But cleverly, they didn't really do that. They didn't really shed a light on the house circumstances when he got home. So I just thought, that everybody was home when he got home, and they couldn't have done it. But apparently she had time to drive over there, kill her, or drive back.
Evan, so during the trial, they go through like very like a detailed stuff of like Carolyn ate food at this time and her digestion would have and then the other bit is like, we found not even like skin but skin cells under the nails, and I'm like, why do people even crime? Why do you even try? Like, if we come so far you can find like that minute of a detail, it's like just either accept fate or just don't do shit. Don't do this.
Yeah, I'm on the don't do shit train here. And yeah, it's like, you got to put gloves on for everything. And I love how Rusty was like, skin cells under my fingernails? Yeah, we were having sex. It could have been from that. Like, you never think of that? Or maybe she didn't eat the food. Maybe I ate the food. You ever think of that? Like, everything was so circumstantial, which was great. And then it led up to a very emotional, like, not guilty ruling.
There was also like it was very captivating, like the whole angle of Tommy and like how he very much had the feelings for Carolyn, but also she very much did not, and she was kind of off-put, and just like the ringing of that in his mind. But he still had feelings. And he was trying to get Rusty on something, no matter what. What's great is like they had so many like guaranteed wins at spots in court, but Tommy just like wouldn't let it lie. He just always had to like push a little further and try to convince his friend to just like, no, there's like the courts will be fine. We got this. Like the arrogance of like, I'm gonna fucking get him in the spotlight.
It was so good. They made it a dick like Tommy captivating in a way, mainly because he's going against Rusty, who's also a dick. But it's like Tommy and his buddy, the new like head DA, hilarious. Best duo on TV this year. I loved all their interactions. When Tommy goes off to the media about like Rusty, then he gets in the car and his buddies are like, Tommy,
Why?
Why? It was like, it was so good. It was so good. Like, it was just like thing one and thing two, and it was great. And then he's like, I don't think you're fit for this case. He's like, yes, I am. I'm committed to do this. I gotta trust it, and they're on my side, and I just gotta prove it. And it's just like, you really felt like he was really broken after Carolyn died, and more so than him just being like, I gotta get Rusty. That was obviously there, but also like when you get to the finale, he was like, I really just wanted to honor Carolyn. I thought that Rusty did it. I really wanted to honor that, and I can relate to that. I can get that. I understand that. So they really just nailed his character. I think Peter Skarsgård, I think is his name. I think he's one of the Skarsgård brothers. And he was just brilliant. He's just a really good actor. I hope he gets nominated too. This is getting a season 2, Apple confirmed. So I thought it was going to sweep like the best limited series awards next year, but Jake Gyllenhaal is getting nominated for best drama. Peter Skarsgård best supporting. Hopefully the black guy, his best friend, also gets nominated. The person who plays Raymond, Rusty's lawyer, peak, perfection, awesome. He's great in every little thing he does. He never misses a beat. He's like one of those reliable character actors that you can get in any movie or TV series, and it instantly makes it more captivating. He's just so good. Like him just going off on the two idiots is just pure magic. Just great.
So
yeah, he's always.
He's so good to the point that like when he has the health issue scare in the courtroom and he passes out, I'm like, oh no.
That was crazy. That was crazy. I was like, is he going to die? Or are we getting Rusty? Is this how he's going to defend himself? And it was, but then you have him coming back like as the hero in the finale. It was just so good. It was a lot of ups and downs.
And they really framed it very well. Like, even though Rusty is like not the best person, you get the sense of like they put so much desperation in like the idea that Rusty is framed in this position that you want to see him overcome this and succeed. Like, because you do kind of sit with that thought of like, but why was she tied up like that other case? How is there not a connection? I absolutely hear about why is nobody investigating? Where are the detectives at it?
Yeah, what's going on here? Where's Batman at? World's Greatest Detective.
We're in Chicago.
But yeah, man, I was so captivated. I was like, who could have done it? What's going on here? And the fact that like man, Rusty did after all this end up being the one to tie up Carolyn. He didn't kill her. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like the next day at work, I was like standing there by myself and I was thinking about it, and I was just like, I was like, if we were to introduce this to the police, it's like, yeah, Rusty wouldn't go down for murder, but like he defaced a corpse. Like, oh no.
What would that be called? That's like
obstruction
of justice.
Probably because you're tampering with the crime scene.
Yeah. You get a lot of prison time for that.
Well, that is an obstruction of justice because he's effectively he's making an alibi for the actual killer.
Exactly. Yep. 100%. But man, the fact that the whole time, this whole season, he thought it was her. Wait, I don't think the whole season.
No, he said at a specific point. I think it was
yeah, I forget what point he said.
It would have been like, I think it was after like he met. I think it was after she met with the dude from
bartender.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes. Because he's like, that's when he started tracking her car.
Right? Yes. But the daughter took the car at that point.
The daughter took the car. Right. That's crazy. But again, you see the drool coming out of her mouth when she's like saying, no, it wasn't me.
Because it's just as equally heartbreaking because, she goes from the mindset of like, what the fuck, I killed? No, to, oh my God, my child is a murderer.
Oh.
What do you do? What do you do?
It's one of the best acted scenes I've seen all year, movie, TV, any shit. It's like that whole confrontation. I'm like, Jake Gyllenhaal's cold expression, but like desperation to like shock. Like he thinks he's on top of it. He's like, I know it was you. It really pained me, but we're not gonna tell anybody. It wasn't me. She comes in. It wasn't me. And it's like,
and what I love with how Jake portrayed this here is like I really was captivated by how he goes instantly into a very like defensive, like the defense for his family. Just be like, we're not going to say a thing. Like, he knows the ins and outs of what to avoid and like, but he's doing it from a protective stance, even though it's like holy shit murder. It's still like his family, and it's like you understand why he's doing this, but but you're as a viewer like this whole situation is so messy and fucked.
Beyond fucked, yeah. And I'm just like, it really turned my whole perception on the show from like a captivating crime procedural to like a family drama, messy, fucked up situation. Where
And I'll tell you, Evan, the most fucked up bit in like the final shots when they're all at like Thanksgiving dinner, the son has no idea.
The son has no clue.
He's the one outlier who just like he doesn't realize he's surrounded by fuck.
It's going to be crazy, and you know that we're going to have a whole plot point where he might figure out something in season 2, because we are getting season 2, which makes the finale even crazier.
That is an interesting bit because I would love to see more of these characters, but I think you had suggested maybe like an alternate cast for another case.
I wanted that, but then Jake Gyllenhaal's returning.
Oh,
he's returning, so I assume his family is returning too.
Well, if it's like an American Horror Story instance where like they're different characters.
I would love that. Oh my god, I would eat that shit up. But no, probably not.
Like the mom's the prosecutor and Tommy's the one you have to team
Oh,
up.
that'd be great. Shows don't want to do that. They don't want to have fun.
They don't want to have fun.
That would have been great. I would have loved that. And I think a lot of modern audiences would be kind of confused based off of like this. This is a normal-esque show. If this was a horror show, I could see that happening. Or even a comedy. But this was a played straight kind of show.
It's funny how messy American Horror Story can get because like they had like anthology series where they had the same actors playing different characters, but then at that point they decided to start like crossing some plot lines of seasons. So, like you'd have a scene where like Sarah Paulson's like doing some dies and then her other character walks in the door after. Crazy.
That's crazy. I was wanting to watch that show.
Yeah.
Never got around to it. But yeah, it was like I'm with you that the whole aspect of them just like carrying this heavy burden. And everybody moves on with their lives. I thought it was very heartwarming and now eerie finale at the same time. It reminded me of The Americans, my favorite show of all time. The Americans, where the premise is that the two parents are Russian spies living this American life during the Cold War. Spoiler alert, small spoiler. Eventually, the daughter figures out who they are. But the son never does.
Their biological daughter?
Their biological daughter. Yes. Right. Yes. Yeah. They had a whole family. Yeah.
Okay.
The biological daughter. I'm like, wait a second. That is their daughter, right? But yeah, I'm going crazy. The biological daughter figured out who they were, but the son never does, and it creates the era of just like, oh my god, it's so tragic. But anyways, it's like now they all know. But the son doesn't know that his sister was the one that killed Carolyn. And I like how sporadic it was, too. Like, she just killed him. Because my mom was like, why did Carolyn turn around? I'm like, Carolyn turned around because she had no idea that the daughter would just... You don't think a 16-year-old girl would just kill you. You don't think that's going to happen. Carolyn was ballsy, though. She was like, I'm going to keep your father's baby. Just like she said it so calmly, like so matter of fact.
Something to be like discussing with the child,
right? I'm like, you should just be like, here's some tea. See you later. Like
she's like, our lives are still going to be entwined a bit, and I was like, because you want to keep your career, right? Like, I get it.
Right, yeah.
Your coworkers, right?
No, because I
don't know.
It's like no, because I have your father's baby. It's like, why are you telling her that? If I'm Rusty, even if like she lived, I'd be like, why do you freaking tell my daughter that you're gonna have my kid? Like that. Yeah. Anyways, it was messy. It was a great show. One of the most well acted shows I've seen all year. Yeah. Loved it. So yeah, everybody go watch Presumed Innocent if you like.
Also, you know how fucking like bold she had to be to like leave the fire poker in Tommy's house.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And hope you don't leave prints on this dark and stormy night.
Great point, because like she had no idea Jake was involved with all that. She must have been as confused as Jake when she figured out that like or as Rusty when she figured out the crime scene the next morning was her being tied up, because she killed him with the fire poker and just left the scene. He came in there, her DNA all over the place. He had to clean up all her DNA, and then she took the fire poker, but it's like all the DNA was like she was all over that crime scene if it wasn't for Rusty.
it really makes you wonder because like throughout the whole season, she's obviously very worried for her dad to want because as a viewer, like, oh, she didn't want her dad to go to prison, and I think that's still true. But like, you can only imagine like, what if the outcome? What if Rusty was found guilty? And like, would she feel guilt for that? Would she try to confess? Would like what would have happened with her? It's an open-ended question for something that doesn't happen, but
that's a great point. It's like she has it changes her whole perspective of why she was there. Every question she had for her dad about like
I almost want to watch the show again just to like keep an eye on her and like the courtroom and shit, and just see how she is.
Before season 2 drops, I might do the same thing. But yeah, it was 8 episodes, a great runtime, and comparing this at the same time we were watching Acolyte, also 8 episodes, but this one had like 48 to 50 minutes per episode. I feel like that's all you really need for shows like The Acolyte or Percy Jackson on Disney Plus. Like, make them like 40 minutes plus is the sweet spot. I'm not saying everything needs to be like an hour long, like Game of Thrones, or even like those BBC shows, but like 40 to 45 minutes is perfect. This show is 8 hours or 8 episodes, 45 minutes per episode, and I never felt like there was a wasted scene or a lack of episodes I wanted. So, just keep that for note.
If anything, like while I was binging, I was like, I want to watch another hour, but fuck, it's good. I want to watch another episode, but fuck, it's another hour. I know I have to go to sleep, but fuck, I want to keep going.
Exactly. So, yeah, just keep that a note for those 8 episode Disney Plus shows. Like, come on, if you want to give us 8 episodes, just make the runtime a bit longer. But anyways, that was Presumed Innocent. We talked about The Boys. Wow, how was it already an hour in? Nathan talks too much. What else do we have here? Let's talk about Twisters. I can't think of any other TV show that I watched. I still have not finished The Bear season 3. I'm terrible. I'm awful.
Me too, dude. I haven't started it yet.
I'm on episode like 6, I think. I need to watch 6 through 10.
I might start tonight.
I'm really behind. I'm watching the Olympics. The live feeds are popping. I'm just like,
there was no Lucifer. It's crazy. I know you've been trying.
Yeah, I started episode 1 of Lucifer. It was pretty good. He's in
hell.
Drop. What?
Good needle drop.
In episode 1?
Yeah, from the first scene.
I'm surprised you remember that with your memory,
Oh, this is a great needle drop.
How many needle drops does Time Wizard have?
I got a number of tracks in my playlist for the first. I'm gonna answer this right now, and the answer is presently, and not saying they're all gonna get dropped, but presently there's 20 tracks here.
20 tracks.
There's 20 tracks, but like this is ultimately a vibe playlist. Why I make it with some of them that will probably be used.
Cut or yeah, okay. But yeah, I think that's it for TV shows. Again, I'm watching tons of anime, so I don't have time for other live action TV shows. Let me take another gander at my TV show list here. If people want to know my thoughts on House of the Dragon, which I am watching, once again, go to Where Heartbreak Feels Good. I'm talking about that every Monday, so I don't want to repeat myself. I did watch The Mole on Netflix, which was fun to watch. My Adventures with Superman season 2 finished airing 2 weeks ago. Fantastic season. I think an improvement on season 1. Carta was the best part of the show. Not a surprise. She was great. I wanted even more of her. I think that was my only complaint. So yeah, she was great. I think that was it, non-anime wise. But movies. We haven't talked a lot of movies since we last dropped our mic cup of tea here. Starting from the back, we talked about Deadpool and Wolverine already. But before that, we had Twisters come out, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who directed Minari. And I'm a huge fan of Twisters. I'm a huge fan of Twister. I love the original Twister movie. Came out in 1996, my birth year. Loved the movie. And I watched it endlessly before Twisters even came out. It's one of those movies that just has a big mark on my childhood. I loved it. Holly Hunter and Bill Paxton, perfect chemistry, great romance, great heart for the movie, great supporting cast. The natural disasters feel threatening and horrifying a lot of the time, but just a very fun vibe.
I'm so sad, Evan. I told my dad I watched Twister for the first time, and he said I'm sorry because he doesn't like it, I guess.
Wow.
And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" I think his problem was the effects, and I was like, "Dad, Dad, please, Bill Paxton."
peak Bill Paxton. But yeah, and then this comes around to Twisters, and I really, really, really liked Twisters. I wanted to love it. I don't fully love it. I think my only main complaint with this movie is that the romance between wow, I'm dropping names like crazy.
Glenn Powell and
Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones. I'll just say that. Their characters, fantastic chemistry. Everybody has good chemistry, even with Anthony Ramos. The whole triarchy chemistry they had there was great. I just feel like the romance could have been pushed harder. The romance is the best thing I take out of watching Twister, because throughout the whole awesome Twister, and contrary to what Nathan's dad says, I think the VFX are really cool. I like the whole.
Me too. I mean, I can tell they're composited, but I'm like, it looks pretty. I'm still like, I don't know how they got it to look like that.
Yeah, it was still very compelling. It's still fun to watch,
and they're very good at like cutting into inserts of like real like wind-blown shots or like close-ups of people.
Yeah, it looks threatening. It looks scary. While being fun, it's a hard vibe to hit with these natural disaster movies. Like, how can you capture the horrifying nature of being next to a tornado while also having fun, while also keeping the stakes intact? Because some natural disaster movies, like Day After Tomorrow, I think captures that very well. But like 2012 is like, I'm never really scared for the characters. And other movies,
I'm just not give you enough time to attach to the characters, do they? Like, it just
in 2012.
Yeah, doesn't just one thing after another happen?
Yeah, but that's what makes it so fun. But it's not like a good movie. I mean, I have fun watching it.
Have you ever seen Knowing with Nicolas Cage?
Knowing with Nicolas Cage. What was that one about?
I just kind of don't want to say. It's kind of like there's like an instance of like they find like these pages that's like has some algorithm and numbers, and like they can like they find sections of ones that are like
oh yeah, no, I never saw that. It's
kind of interesting.
I remember the trailers for that. It was like alien shit. But yeah, I never really got into Knowing, but other disaster movies I love, like Volcano, Armageddon, that kind of stuff. But yeah, again, for Twister and Twisters, in Twister, I love the heart of it. This one had a lot of heart, especially Kate's character. I just remember the name now. Wow, Kate. Kate's character, played by Daisy Edgar Jones, brilliant. Loved her arc, love her journey. The prologue instantly gets you like captivated in her character and what she's going through. The loss of her boyfriend and her two friends. Tragic.
I remember telling you, I was like, oh no, I haven't seen these guys in the trailer.
Yeah. I whispered over to my dad. I was like, Dad, they're so dead. I just knew they were going to die. As soon as you do like the whole like, hey, yeah, we're going to go find this tornado and come to my, like our mom wants us to come over to her house after we do this. I'm like, don't get like future goals, future promises, the things that are not going to happen. So the supporting cast in the prologue was great, even though they died quickly. But then in the overall movie, I really like supporting cast. We have David Corenswet playing Superman, who is also the biggest asshole of the movie.
It really is. It is funny. I was like sitting there watching him, and I was like, "Oh God, how am I going to buy you a Superman? Because he's so good at playing the dick in this."
He's just a flat out dick. He's not the most well layered character. He's just a straight up dick. But I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. He's corporate, exactly. He's corporate, and everybody else is kind of like the underdogs, and I kind of liked that. An underdog with a lot of like popularity with you think of Tommy, but Glenn Powell's character. And it was great. They had great chemistry. Her arc of like dealing with the tragedy of her past, overcoming that at the end was great. I would have loved for him to help her out at the end as well, but he couldn't. He just stayed in the theater. The theater set piece was also very good though, so I liked that. All the set pieces were brilliant. The VFX were great. The sound effects were really good. I have this in my like predictions for top 5 sound of the year at the Academy Awards. I think it's
probably
really good sound work at this movie.
The scene where they're in the pool and they're like crawling on the bottom of it, they can't get up.
So cool. And then the guy's like, "Help me out!" I'm like, if I'm Glenn, I'm like, I'm not risking my life to go help out this nobody. I'm like,
grab my foot, like if you can.
Right? I'm like, yeah, grab my foot. Don't. He gets up, like, help me. Then he gets picked up. I'm like, what are you doing? But yeah, their chemistry, Glenn and Daisy's excellent. I just wish they had more romantic stuff. Even at the end of Twister, the OG one, they finally kiss, and it completes the movie. The kiss completes the movie. I know that's like my bias, but I feel like if you're going to do that same thing here with Glenn and Daisy, they don't get along, but then of course they do get along. Everybody and their mother expects a kiss. That's what you did in the first movie. I know they want to be different. They want to go against type. Yeah. Sometimes going with the cliche works. It's a cliche for a reason. Cliches are born from things that work.
I honestly was quite impressed with like the original Twister because I'd also seen it for the first time the same day I went to go see Twister.
Shocking.
Shocking.
You're also the motherfucker who saw like Aladdin for the first time before you saw Aladdin in 2019, which is
yes, sir.
Doubly shocking.
Yes, sir. And I'll do it again with something.
Have you seen Beauty and the Beast yet?
No.
Oh, the OG? You haven't seen Beauty and the Beast? The OG?
The OG, no, I've seen like bits around, but I never like sat down to watch it. I want to though, because the animation is gorgeous. And every time I look at it, I'm like, fuck, I want to study the hell out of this. I want to watch this movie. And I know I'd love it. I select live action as well.
I don't know how we're friends, Nathan. I don't know how that happened.
I know because I've told you this many times, and your goldfish and brain won't remember. I'm sorry. You also said you'd watch Lucifer in case you forgot, but
I lied.
Couldn't be. You never lied to me.
Never lied to Nathan in my life.
now I'm worried you have. What happened?
Actually, I'm like, I don't really lie to you.
Know about you.
I tell my students that all the time. I'm like, guys, I don't lie to you. It's like, Mr. Harris, you lie to us all the time. You said we'll go outside for recess, and we're in here. Yeah. I have the kids in my brain because I'm going back to school in 2 weeks. Not good.
We won't call it a lie. We'll call it a
fib.
An educated wish.
No, that was from something I saw recently. Deadpool movie thing. I was like, what the hell, Evan? But there we go. Yeah. That was kind of funny.
I was saying about Twister, like I was actually really surprised because you know me, I don't like love triangles. Pretty much every character just kind of lands on this is the right position for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that's all right.
In the OG movie, she leaves. She's like, I know you still like her. And he's like, oh, so you're going back to the hotel? And she's like, no, I'm just gone.
I'll be real. I don't feel that bad about it. What does that say?
Me too. That works. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what she says. But yeah, and it's like, yeah, I thought you were talking about you. But yeah, and Bill Paxton's like, okay. Like, deep down, he knows as well. Like,
everybody meant well. He was like, I didn't mean for this to happen.
Yeah, it was like one day of just craziness. He's supposed to get the divorce papers, and then it was like 3 twisters later. She nearly died twice. Yeah, she was like, it's time for me to go. This isn't for me. You're not for me. Even though Bill Paxton is a good guy. And he knew like he loved Joe. And then I love the scene when she's in the rain. He's like, your parents aren't coming back, Joe. You don't got to do this for your dad. It's like, come back to me, Joe. Oh, peak. And yeah, the heart is here. I think instead of having like 2 dual interesting arcs, she gets a lot of the main arc in this movie and Twisters, I mean, where Kate's journey is so emotionally riveting, so interesting. Her, again, going back to fight the F5 tornado at the end of the movie, great scene. Again, her chemistry with Glenn was just really good. Especially, I love the scene with her and Glenn at the mom's house. Every single scene there, peak romance, peak rom-com. I loved it. It's like, oh yeah, he's just staying over in the guest room. It's like, okay, mom's gonna do her thing. It was just really fun. And then Anthony Ramos like secretly loving her as well, like keeping up that love triangle stuff alive. Which again,
was that triangle?
Yeah, he liked her. You didn't get the vibe
like that?
Yes. I would have done anything for you, Kate. You don't say that to your best friend. Well, you do, but also like.
I don't know. You may say to like, "Hey, sole survivor friend."
He liked her, Nathan.
I mean,
Nathan.
I think it's just my brain. Like, I don't want the love triangle. Because they more so focus on Glenn and Daisy.
Yeah, but also like he definitely when he comes back to see her, there are so many hints. Like, hey, when she's leaving the diner, after him failing to convince her, he was like, "Can I like?" And she's like, "Oh, it's gonna be okay. Like, I'll see you later, or whatever." He just like he looks at her as she leaves the diner. He definitely loved her, but at the end of the movie, he understands like it's Glenn's time. I guess.
I think I was just more focused on his own internal arc of like, well, what am I really working for here?
Which I liked as well. Yeah, they gave him a lot of good stuff to like. Again, that corporate underdog arc for him was really good. And again, I just think my only real flaw is if they would have kissed, if the romance would have been more pronounced, especially that scene when after they finally leave the mother's house, they go after their first tornado, just her and Glenn, and her outfit has changed. She's wearing the red outfit. She's really coming back to her roots. Her hair changes. It's really brilliant color theory work there. And when she's like, "Oh, it's gorgeous," and he's looking at her as she says it's gorgeous, I'm like, "Oh, that's peak dialogue, peak romance. That's where a kiss should happen." Still doesn't happen. End of the movie. They go to the airport. It's about to happen. Still doesn't happen. And then they tease me with a good time on Twitter with the deleted scenes. I'm like, "Oh, that makes me like, why?"
They do kiss at the very end though, don't they?
No.
Don't they?
No.
Did they?
No.
I swear.
You're looking at the Twitter tweet.
No, I remember the high. I was sitting there, and he throws his truck in from being towed, and I was like, "That's fucking awesome."
That was awesome.
This is maybe the best gag I've seen all year. And then he goes through airport security fast. Well, fuck it, and then kissed her, right?
No, that's why I'm pissed. He looks at her.
Link me a pirate site. I need to verify.
Please ask Edgar. Jack Sparrow, I mean. They look at each other. Beautiful height difference. And I wanted Nathan to spit out his drink. I was close. But then they look at each other. It's about to happen. Airport ring says, "There's an F5 tornado. All flights are delayed." They look at each other again, and they walk out hand in hand. Credits. There was no kiss. Again, it should have been there. That'd have been. It would have been.
Is a deleted kiss there?
Yes, the film. They filmed a scene where they're just.
It's Tross. No,
they're just eating. I don't want to say eating each other out, but they're kissing each other hard. It's like, you know what I mean.
Where's this cut, Evan? Where's my X-rated Twister?
That's a Spielberg cut that he's hiding from everybody. So yeah, again, I compared it off stream to like Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, where I'm like, Mission Impossible is a 4.7 out of 5 movie because it's like, if that one thing didn't happen, best movie of all time.
Right.
But it did happen, so it's not the best movie of all time.
And but Evan, I'm sorry, I won't. I'll be
keep going
about it. If that thing turns out to have not been permanent later, does that elevate the movie for you?
I keep saying that 1,000%. It would be. This movie will be the best movie of all time if a certain thing happens.
We still need a commentary that, by the way.
We do. But it's not going to change. It's not going to change.
Is Mission out next year?
Next May, next Memorial Day. Yeah.
Or waiting until then?
No, we can watch it whenever. I don't know.
No.
What movies? Because I also wanted to watch Talk to Me and Mission Impossible. Those are on the docket. We're going to do Sky High next week. Mm-hmm. What other movies of sequels that we were leading up to that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes coming out later this year. Nathan already has it.
Kingdom, the new Godzilla Kong.
We did not watch that. Crazy.
We didn't watch that. We never watched Fast X.
Was that the one with Baby Yoda?
No, that was F9.
That was F9. We did F9. Yes. Was Carson there for F9?
Yes. We didn't watch No Way Home. Or
I
Venom
feel
2,
like we're good.
or Madam Web.
I feel like I've seen No Way Home like 1,000 times, even though I've only seen it
I
twice.
definitely have.
Like it's one of those movies like Endgame, right? I think I've seen Endgame 2 or 3 times, maybe.
Would
But
you
I feel
watch
like
the extended cut of No Way Home?
there's no. You're lying to me.
I'm not.
There's no extended cut.
There's an extended cut with it's primarily new scenes with Toby and Andrew.
Since when?
Since like they did a re-release of it during the
extended cut.
Yeah.
What do they add?
Bits, pieces. I haven't sat down to watch it.
Of course you haven't, because it doesn't exist.
Because I bought the other one. Because I didn't know they were going to have an extended.
Oh, okay. Whatever you said, I believe you for now. We don't have to do that one, but
shouldn't we though? I made a thumbnail forever ago, back when Carson was here.
For No Way Home?
Yeah, I was just like, fuck it, I'm here, and I made one, and then I was like, we'll get there one day.
2020.
I started making MCU ones for the fuck of it.
I'm good.
We're gonna spin that wheel on the 24-hour stream, and it'd be like, all right, the next thing we're doing, MCU. I have given you the grace of breaking down phases.
You know, it was worthwhile doing the 18 Fox movies leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine.
This would be a third if we're doing phases.
This would be, yeah. Like, how much was 18 movies? Like, how much was Phase 1 for Marvel?
Phase 1 is 6. Phase 2 is 6. Phase 3 is 12.
So we can do like the first 2 phases. I can do that. I can do 2 phases.
I can't do Phase 3.
Phase 3 is the best phase, but it's a lot. What was Phase 4 again?
Phase 4 is like just movies.
Yeah.
Phase 4 was Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, No Way Home.
2020 to 2023.
Yeah.
That was a decent phase. Shang-Chi was peak.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi's came out on top.
It sounds like you would do Phase 4 solely for Shang-Chi.
Yes. Or we can just watch Shang-Chi.
No.
What are you taking your head for?
I'm gonna drag you on. It's like you're gonna like Multiverse of Madness.
It's fine. It's good.
Harry, you're gonna finish your dessert.
It's a good movie. I don't think about it.
I think about it every day.
Do you really?
The fucking Wolverine with the picture.
You think of Wanda's rock reverse?
Right. Oh, she'll be back.
Where's the Scarlet Witch movie, guys? D23? Put on the clown makeup, you guys. It's never going to happen.
I'll have a clear answer after a post-credit in Agatha.
A Scarlet Witch movie has been rumored for a long time.
Give me till Vision Quest to figure it out.
The fact that they made like 2 spin-offs of a WandaVision show is wild to me. Like, wild. But that was before they changed their whole Disney Plus prerogative and got smart about it.
What is the most popular Marvel Disney Plus show?
WandaVision.
Well, then there's your answer.
Yeah. I mean, WandaVision, I think, has the most highest rating, followed by Loki. Season 1. I think Season 2 had decent ratings. I remember the Ms. Marvel was the best show, but it didn't get the best ratings, I think. I don't know.
It was airing during Obi-Wan.
Yeah. And then Acolyte doesn't have the best ratings, but it's the best show. So next to Andor. The 2 best shows have the lowest ratings. Crazy. Star Wars. But D23, August 9th, please renew the Acolyte. Guys, keep tweeting it. Keep watching it. I rewatched episode 5 of the Acolyte like 4 times now. The finale like 3 times now. So
I'm gonna start turning on the Acolyte when I go to bed. Just let it autoplay.
Let it autoplay. Honestly, not a bad play. Even though, like, if you click on an episode of the Acolyte, I don't think it'll go to.
There's no autoplay anymore. God damn it! Yeah,
it'll just go to like, do you want to watch Ahsoka or Obi-Wan Kenobi? I'm like, no.
It's so funny. I used to be like annoyed of like countdown autoplays on different things, but like for Disney Plus, I'm like, I want it because I'm doing catch ups a lot. So I'm like, just play it.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
Twisters was fun.
Twisters was fun. I think I still have it very high. I
It's a
didn't
little
love it.
desaturated, I'll be honest.
What's that?
It's a little desaturated, I'll be honest.
I mean, yeah, the color grading is not the best.
Good effects though.
Good effects, yeah. But like that kind of color stuff doesn't really mind. I don't really mind. It's a lot of blockbusters. Like Deadpool Wolverine, I'm like, it looks they're fighting in a courtyard. It looks fine. But like
But the suits pop.
the suits pop. Yeah, the landscapes weren't that interesting in Deadpool 3.
We're in the
But
void.
the fight, yeah, that was their excuse.
Fair.
But yeah. So that's Twisters. One movie that I loved, Longlegs. Crazy ass movie. Longlegs for me was billed as like,
how fucking do it?
I don't know how he did it. So good. Like the marketing for Longlegs was great. This is officially Neon's highest grossing movie domestically, beating Parasite's movie. I think Parasite had like 56 or 70 million. Longlegs has passed that, which is crazy. And this was billed as like this, like, you know, 7 adjacent, 7 being like my second favorite movie ever. Like Arrival was 7. And then yeah, I was super excited to see like the horror, thriller, serial killer nature of this movie. And I think it excelled at that.
Man, Evan, I really need to watch Zodiac.
You do. Zodiac, this has big Zodiac energy. But I think the beauty of like Zodiac and 7 in contrast to Longlegs, which not a fault for Longlegs at all, but Zodiac and 7 are played straight. There are straight mystery murder thrillers about serial killers and the not humane, but just the raw, realistic aspect of tracking down serial killers, deranged minds. David Fincher did a good job of capturing that like enigma status of the serial killer in both movies. So again, spoilers for Longlegs, last chance. I was surprised, Nathan.
The daughter did it.
The daughter did it. It was her. It was her the whole time, which would have been crazy. But it was the mother, which was even kind. It was kind of the mother.
It was like the mother, but like it is, but as like a like not a coworker, like a partner in crime, but like she's forced to do it to protect her daughter.
Yeah, and I think the craziness, the mother reveal was awesome, and like we're seeing the spooky door in the kitchen, like where does that lead to? But then her waking up and realizing this was her mother's house, like
that was one of the best. Like, oh my god,
fantastic, just brilliant surprise reveal there. But the biggest surprise for me about this movie overall was that it was supernatural. It became a supernatural thriller, and I love Supernatural, but I was just not the TV show. I don't watch it. Sorry, guys, I don't watch it.
Want to start it.
Commentary, Supernatural, all 200 episodes.
All 15 seasons.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna make you do that just so you can be like, I guess I could do 6 of Lucifer.
Yeah, start from the top. Yeah. I wonder, have I ever finished any CW show, Evan? I never finished Flash. I never finished Arrow. I never finished the 100. I think the 100 is probably the best show in the CW, but the ending really ruined it for me, and I didn't finish the last 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever finished the CW show, even though I like them all. Season 5 of Arrow is probably the best season of any CW show.
Our 4 wasn't great.
What?
I heard Arrow season 4 wasn't great.
Half of 3 wasn't great. The second half of 3 wasn't great. 4 overall was not great. But season 5 with Adrian Chase was great. He played.
I gotta ask this based off of what I've heard from my friends. How do you feel about Felicity?
I loved Felicity when she was a great side character. When she became like the main character, when the romance overtook the narrative. Even as a romantic like me, I'm like, we're losing the plot here. And she overtook the narrative of the show. To the detriment of the other great female supporting characters. Like they did Laura dirty. They did the other Black Widow. Not Widow. What's her name? Black Canary, yeah, they did the other ones. Those versions not good, but overall, she was. I liked the character, especially her season 1 and 2 version. But yeah, again, Longlegs. The supernatural aspect of the mom being like the entryway for this demonic, satanic entity where she's basically like the giver. She gives this puppet-esque demon to families, leave, and then the families will be the ones who actually commit the murders, which was unsettling for me. I love that aspect. And then the main actress, Moika Monroe. I want to get her name down.
I really liked her in this.
She was fantastic, dude. You got to watch that movie, The Watcher, because it is a horror movie. Micah Monroe, thank you. And Alicia Witt is the mother, who was just fantastic. Blair Underwood, her police chief, peak, great, loved it. Nicolas Cage, also great. But my aunt was texting me about the Olympics. But yeah, Micah was great, and she was in this movie again called The Watcher, where she moves to like Germany or something, and she thinks this guy is watching her. And it's a really good stalker thriller. She's great here, and her being so emotionally connected to her mother, and in essence, the villain was great. One of the best prologues or first scenes, opening scenes of any movie this year, easily. It was so, again, unsettling and creepy. I loved that. Some couple of nitpicks for this movie. I couldn't really get too invested in the detectiving of the killer. I think, oddly enough, The Batman by Matt Reeves did a really good job of like from A to B to C to D of how Bruce was able to figure out the Riddler. What's la? But like I loved the like detectiveness of that movie. Even 7 as well. Like I did like a 12-page report on 7. I love the. It's more so about like the filmmaking techniques in 7. I'll still probably give it sometime. But now I like in hindsight, I was like, that was like 2018 Evan. Yeah, that was 2017, 2018 Evan.
I wish I had my own reports because I did a whole thing on like marketing, and so I chose the route of movie trailers.
Oh, cool.
And nobody else in my group did shit, by the way. I carried them. I made the whole report by myself, and we all just stand up and present. I was like, just fucking read the slide. And I got us all an A.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. I remember Jalen and I, usually we never had classes together in high school, but we had English class together, and we carried this PowerPoint, and we needed a third person. So we had our best friend, like Julian. We're like, just, don't look at the slides. Me and Jalen were just notorious for being like, we hated when people were just like, and this is the Great Depression, just looking at the slides, then not looking at the audience, the classroom. So I told my friend, just look at these note cards, read them overnight, talk about that. That's your job. Because that's the easy way to get from an A to a B in class, is just to look at the slides and read off the slides. Talk to the audience. And me and Jalen worked at a museum since we were 13 years old. So it's like we were good and comfortable with talking to an audience. So it's just like we always carried our team in terms of slides, even in college. Oh, yeah. I loved doing that. But because I would always be like the one I can write, but I'm like the worst creative mind of all time. When it comes to drawing and arts and crafts, like I can't do that. I have a good imaginative. I have a good imaginative mind. Like I have stories off the wild zoo in my head, and I can write a great story, a great world building, stuff like that. I cannot draw over shit. I cannot create like arts and crafts and cut and glue. That's not me. But even as a teacher, I'm like, I'm flipping through the teacher guideline. It's like, oh yeah, for this section on ancient China history, you should have the class build like this pyramid. I'm like, I don't want to have them do that because I would hate doing that, and I don't want to grade that. Yeah. So I was like, we're just going to do online slides or online projects, which other teachers hate. Tangent aside, Yeah, I think the weakest part of Longlegs again was just like the whole detective route, more so because in other movies like Zodiac or Seven, you can connect the dots because they're human villains. You can go against those characters. You can figure out their messy line of thinking. Or at times, these serial killers are very smart. They can follow the line of thinking. But for this one, she's following it. The birthday stuff is very smart. Um, but then it kind of leads to not because it becomes a supernatural thriller, which means while the detectiving was very smart, the supernatural aspect overtakes it and it becomes something different. That all to say, I liked the turn. I liked the twist. I liked the entity of it all. And pondering the ending more, listening to other reviewers talk about the ending, I came out of the theater being like, I loved this movie, but the ending kind of left me cold because the sister or the daughter at the birthday party was also kind of under the spell. Why couldn't Micah do much to stop her chief from killing the wife? And then the daughter was also in the loop. But the director talked about how like the helpless nature that Micah, the main actress, was in during the whole scene and how it was slightly inevitable. And it all led up to her killing her own mother, who was also doing all that to try and save her, like trying to shield her from the pain and trauma of her growing up with this icky, sickening serial killer in Longlegs having a big imprint, for lack of better words, on her early childhood, which was very sickening to watch. It was gross, but also really enthralling. Like I still to this day, I can't stop thinking about it. Like I'm gonna have Longlegs Steelbook day one because I can't wait to rewatch the movie and love the performances again and again. So yeah, that's me for Longlegs. I have not rated Longlegs on Letterboxd. I haven't rated a lot of my July movies, but I think for me it would be up there in like top 6 or 7 or 8. Loved it.
Nice.
Loved it. Yeah. So that was Longlegs. Sorry. Did you have anything else to add?
Longlegs is a movie. No, I really vibed with it a lot. I really love the vibe itself. It's very atmospheric, and I love shit like that. I was very captivated by the whole overarching story and the reveal of like the messy intricacy of like the mother's involvement in protecting the very person who's trying to uncover the entire case. And when it becomes like too much, I felt a bit of like sinking in my stomach of like, oh no, her partner, the veteran cop, like he's already under spell, like it's too late.
Yeah, that was so heartbreaking. And then he just like, come to the kitchen with me. I'm like, don't go in the kitchen.
And just like the way everybody's playing their scene, because we were introduced to them before, like you just see everybody's off.
Yeah.
It's just the presence of evil sitting within the doll right there.
Oh, and the shot like where you don't see what's in the doll's eyes, but then progressively over time.
Like they're like kind of like slightly like glowing under the black veil.
Loved that. It was very creepy. Well, it was sickening. It was really cool.
Overall, I think I was a bit unenthusiastic of the villain just being the devil because not that can't be good because it was good. I just I think I'm like there's been so many like soul horror films that are just like it's the devil's work, all shit like that, and they don't do it very creatively, so you kind of already reach a level of burnout if they're not like putting an interesting spin on it. Like I watched it where it's like, hey, the hell's kind of good actually, and it's really fun. And not to say like that needs to be the case, but when it was just the principle of that, I think for me that was like a little less intriguing as opposed to like even something like, I had a rough start with Smile. I came around on it. Creature design of that fucking freaky as hell, and it's its own like mythology.
Yeah,
I'm super hyped for Smile too. But yeah, all in all, with that's just the kind of bit that like sends me not as like enthralled. I know there was also people who were saying like this is the scariest thing ever, and it's like it's not.
But not at all. Yeah, like the scariness was way overhyped. It's not nearly scary. It's more of a haunting movie.
Nick Cage is very unsettling. It's a great performance.
Yeah, it's more of a haunting, unsettling movie instead of like scary or horrifying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely like you'll find this in like your Blockbuster in this horror aisle, but it was like it was a creepy thriller, not very much like there's no reason to like shield your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some of the best direction I've seen all year. There was a scene where she's at her house, Nathan, and she's like reading the book, and the shot, you can see like her doorway was fully framed, and it's like framed as if somebody about to come up behind her. So you're like looking at her, looking at the doorway. It was crazy.
There is one shot you can see, I guess, like Satan's silhouette in the door frame. Like it's full like headpiece, goat shape, everything.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I was very captivated. It's very cool. I love like the sneaking around, like not knowing, like it's the intrusivity of like the safe spaces that you come to know in your day to day. Like I'm home at my house, you know, someone's in here, so I heard a noise. Fuck it, it's unsettling. It's creepy. It's very well done.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then, yeah, that's it for that. Let's move on. We're almost at 2 hours now. Let's move on to Nathan's somehow worst movie of the year, A Quiet Place Part 2.
I have to check my list for a second, motherfucker. I was like, what? Even right now, I'm like, what is my worst? Was Madam Web this year?
Is what? Madam Web was this year, yeah.
There we are.
It's probably my worst. Madam Web moved up because there's somehow worse movies than Madam Web. People said Argyle was worse than Madam Web. I don't think so.
Argyle's fun. It's like I have fun with Argyle the same way I have fun with President Fast and Furious. Like this is ridiculous. This is fun to watch.
Well, I saw this movie recently called Under Paris. It's on Netflix. Mm-hmm. It's this like shark-based movie in France. Not good. Just not good. One of the worst endings I've seen all year. It's a disaster. It's a shark disaster movie with a very dull ending. I'm like, this is what you do for a shark movie? You end like this? Okay, what's the message here?
Be a jellyfish.
Exactly. So, yeah, let's talk about some of the big movies. I saw some, before we get to that, I saw like some other movies like Fly Me to the Moon, One More Shot on Netflix, Under Paris on Netflix. If people like Blue Lock, the anime, the soccer anime, that was great in theaters. Nice. Fly Me to the Moon was decent. Channing Tatum, spoiler alert, Gambit, great.
People who like avoided the whole fucking like, I didn't see Deadpool and Wolverine, but that was a separate review, and now you just dropped the base.
Yeah, whatever. And then Michael Keaton has a movie on HBO Max called Knox Goes Away, which was meh, but Keaton was good. And then, yeah, let's get to one of the bigger movies that we never had a chance to talk about in A Quiet Place Day One.
All right, well, I will say, in lead up to that, I saw a couple of movies.
Sure, yeah.
Because this was all in one day, Evan. Let me tell you, what a day it was. Because I started off the day, I saw Daddy-O. Wasn't great.
Daddy-O, who's in that one? What's that about?
That's the Dakota Johnson, Sean Penn.
Oh, you talked about that one. Yeah, where it's like, yeah.
Not the best, whatever. So I was like, oh, it's only up from here, right? And I saw the Bike Riders, and I was bored.
Oh, the Bike Riders. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
That wasn't good, guys. Bike Riders is not good. It's a vibe. It's not bad.
It's a vibe, but like it feels empty because like it's very like minimal soundtrack if there is one. I don't remember. Like there's like scene transition needle drops, and then we're just like, hey, go burn down the block. Like that's all we got.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's fine, but yeah, it's just like good performances, good vibe, not a good use of your time.
It's like I'm sitting here and I'm like, I think Austin Butler's the main character, but he's giving me nothing for me to connect with. But then maybe Jodie Comer is, but like she really cares about him, and I don't know why.
Yeah, me neither. It was all over the place. What's next?
Well, then by the end of that day, I went in to go see A Quiet Place, Evan.
Oh.
And wouldn't you know it, the power went out.
At the very end.
Evan, I framed the day to be like, wherever these films go, I'm going to finish off A Quiet Place. I know I'm going to like it the most of it today. I can't wait. I was vibing the whole fucking time. I love this movie. You said it's my number one still. Johnny Hansu yells, "Stop the boat!" Power cut.
That's wild.
Because as
Wild.
you know, I come back 5 minutes left.
That's crazy. And do you come back and watch the entire movie again?
I did because I liked it that much.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have been able to do that. Seeing the whole movie again just to get to the last 5 minutes.
Well, you're not as strong as me, are you?
But it is a good movie. It's not that long either, so I guess
really
I could have done that too. I couldn't tell if I liked it more than The Kinds of Kindness. I think I did.
You're like, I wouldn't watch The Phantom Menace again to see the accolades.
That's different. But yeah, Quiet Place Day 1, peak. There's one thing that comes out of my mind when seeing this movie is like Lupita Nyong'o needs to be in headlining more movies. She took audiences' breath away in Us, and she was fantastic in this, and she's consistently great in the Black Panther movies.
Yeah.
She just needs to be a lead actress in a lot more movies. She's a great performer.
She's won an Oscar, hasn't she?
She won an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave, right? That was it. 12 Years a Slave. Never saw it because it was...
Everyone tells me it's sad.
You're right. It's like
uncomfortably sad.
I'm tired of these slave movies. I hear Michael Fassbender is great as the slave master. Lupita is, of course, great. And
is that a compliment? Like, man, you played that racist really well. It's a little unsettling.
Hey, it's a job.
Job. Tarantino wants me to say it. I'm gonna say it.
RDJ nearly got an Oscar for playing a guy who was doing blackface, and it was great.
They call it out. Like, no one cares.
Exactly. They call it out. And he gets, again, Academy Award nominated for it.
Same year as Iron Man. That's wild.
Yep. Dr. Doom, motherfucker. He's back.
What is the evolution with the course of action from all that? Oh, my God.
Wild. But yeah, I think A Quiet Place Day 1, definitely the A Quiet Place movie with the most heart in the entire franchise. I like the steady growth of her character arc of like, she's like how do you describe it? She cares about herself and her life, but also like she understands that she is dying. And that becomes like a good anchor for her throughout the movie.
You really like get the vibe like by the beginning. It's just like she's been through, I mean, even by the journal, like she admits, like she's been through the end of diagnosis on multiple occasions, and like she knows she's sick. She knows there's no like end, like happy end really in terms of this. Like she knows like she's gonna die sooner than she should have, but she keeps getting like the false like reports of like you have until this, and then she's still around. She's like, I don't. It's like, oh, whatever, I'm here. Like, hey, we're in the town. I want to get pizza. That's all I want to do because that's a little thing that'll make me happy. But then when the world's ends, it's like, okay, all I have left is that, and I want to go out on my own terms. I want to go out my happiest, where I was the most happiest in my life, where I used to go with my father, hang out, and get pizza later.
She wants that freedom. She wants that way of life that she was used to, not only before the apocalypse, but before she became sick and unable to do the things that she wanted. So the apocalypse kind of became just a simple extra hurdle to her already detrimental disease. And I kind of loved the route they took there. Whereas like in every other movie, the apocalypse becomes like this big overarching threat. And while it is, of course, still a huge threat, her main effect is her disease. And she's just, and it's something she can't escape from. She could escape from the apocalypse. She could find somewhere safe, but she can't escape from her disease. And then that kind of makes her have the willingness to end life on her own terms after finding her happy place again. And I love the chemistry that she got with Human Torch, motherfucker. Joseph Quinn, thank you. I was going to say Joe. I was like, his name's not Joe. Joseph, thank you. Their chemistry was sweet. It wasn't romantic. It was just a sweet, earnest friendship. And I liked it a lot.
It's a beautiful friendship. I love it. It was so fun. I was so captivated already in just Lupita and like her like journey through it that like when he popped up, I was like, that's right. He's in this. And he makes it even better when he comes into the fold because he's just like, they're both just like so good and like come from, you know, different positions. Like he just feels like the most like innocent person who just kind of like fell into this instance. Like it's very sad that like the both of them are effectively like don't have anybody. Like he's from the UK, but like he's over here on business school. He's he literally had nobody else to go to. He
And
doesn't
that
want to die alone.
and it becomes like he becomes similar to the cat in essence of him just like following Lupita around, and she kind of got used to him, and then he wanted, like you said, he was yearning for that connection. He wanted to be with somebody, especially in such a chaotic and crazy time. Again, I think the apocalypse aspects of this movie were cool and thrilling. The best part being like the underwater sewer sequence, super scary. That being like the creature upside down, tracking them through the water. It reminded me of like Last of Us Part 2 when Ellie crashes on top of a stalker, and then they crash into the water, and it's just like she's stabbing it in the water. It's really cool. Similar to this movie, where it's like the stalker or the Death Walker, whatever they call themselves.
Fallen Angels, I think they're called. Something Angels. Dark Angels, something.
Dark Angels, Fallen Angels.
In the sky.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's funny because that's never stated in the films, I don't think. Maybe a newspaper clipping if you look close enough. But.
Never. But yeah, we learned a little bit of lore, I think, with the whole egg sequence, right?
I don't know. There was these things, and I thought those were eggs, but I'm pretty sure they were feasting on them. I thought that was like a food supply.
Oh, I thought it was the eggs, because I remember the director, the guy who did Pig, Michael Sarnowski. Yeah, he was like, there is a piece of lore that they hope to add to A Quiet Place Part 3. And I thought that sequence was it, where it's like there are eggs and there's possibilities of these things staying for a very long time. If that was the case. But yeah, overall, yeah, I think this had just so much heart. And usually I hate sacrifices. I really do. But this movie ends with just such a beautiful note of her securing his freedom while she ends life on her own terms.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful. It wasn't like the sacrifice again, but it was a beautiful, perfect ending.
It's like a potential thing that can happen. Because she's staying behind.
Yeah.
And also like the scene where like they make it to the place and it's gone, and they just like huddle and like he holds her like over like that open flame in the sewer coming out. That's beautiful. But then afterwards, when they go into like the music place, he goes out to find a different pizza shop, and he just writes the name of the place that fell on it and just presents it as if it's all the same. They share the drink, and it's just so beautiful.
They share the dance together.
I could cry. Did I? Maybe.
I think, did they even share pizza, right? He goes like to the pizza plot, like you said.
Yeah, he brings the whole pizza. That's a few days old.
But yeah, it was a really touching, beautiful, heartwarming movie amidst this big thriller. It was a big character-focused movie, which I didn't expect.
At the point toward the end where they trade jackets, it was over, Evan. This is one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah, when they traded jackets, I was like, oh no. She's taking literally, he's carrying a piece of her with him. So I was like, oh man, it's over. But yeah, it was so thrilling. Like when he says like the ship's here and he's running and then she distracts him and
the power goes out and you're like, oh.
And the power goes out. I was like, oh wow. It was made for a very fun ending and a good heartwarming journey. Maybe Joseph will appear in part 3.
It was also like interesting, just like adding a bit more lore to Djimon Hounsou's character, because he ends up accidentally killing a man that he didn't intend to because he wouldn't be quiet.
He wouldn't shut the fuck up. I would have killed his ass.
You said this off.
Yeah, this guy would have been dead. Like this guy wasted too much time with. Hey, shush. I've been like, boom, boom. I would have knocked his head open easily.
I definitely get it, and it's like I get it, and I have this experience with like multiple people. When I'm watching stuff like this, it's like we kill like an asshole gets killed, and like usually as an audience member, you're like good, but then like there's the other bit of the story you don't really focus on where you're like, it shouldn't have come to this, and I'm sorry that the character I like had to kill because they didn't want to. Clearly,
yeah, it was good. So yeah, this was a great movie. Great movie. I think I have it for me. and this is before Longlegs, so right now it's at number 6. But
A lot of
might be
rain.
might be number 7. Great Rain might be number 7 or 8 by the time it's all done. But yeah, I also saw Hitman this summer.
Agent
Hitman,
47?
not the video game adaptation. With Glenn Powell, Aria Arjones,
Adria Arjona.
God damn it! One of my favorite movies of the year, easily. It was peak. I might. It should be. Where do I have it right now? I gotta move. I have it below. It might be my number 4. It might be number 4. I'm gonna change that right now. I'm gonna make a off the wall decision to put it over Apes. I love Apes so much. Yeah, I'll put it over Apes. Fuck it. Because it was just that good. It was a really great time. Great rom-com, great comedy, great performances, romantic as hell, earnest as hell, very fun. One of the most entertaining movies I've seen in a very long time. Just consistently entertaining, very surprising, some cool twists and turns you won't expect. This is the movie for like everybody. So I don't want to say a word about it. It's so cool, so good.
Nice.
So I recommend Hitman. And then lastly, I think we both loved Inside Out 2. I think. Yeah, Inside Out 2. Definitely a return to form for Pixar, even though I liked a lot of Pixar's other movies. The only Pixar has had a similar effect as Marvel, where people assume they had like a Pixar slump after Lightyear, Onward, and their movies hitting Disney Plus. But they've consistently had good to great movies besides Lightyear and Onward for me. Those were bad. Those were not good. But similar to Marvel, it's like in between this slump, they also had, like Marvel had Shang-Chi, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Multiverse of Madness for Nathan.
Eternals for you now because I helped you.
Yes, and I like Eternals. Yes, we both were. You didn't help me, motherfucker. We were on the same page.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, I thought we were.
You were a little lower on Eternals. I was a little lower on Last Night in Soho, and then we balanced each other out.
Carson was low on
Carson didn't like either, and I was like, you should have been there.
Yeah. Last Night in Soho is really good.
Now Carson hates those movies forever.
But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Inside Out 2, a worthy sequel. And the only reason it's not as good as the first one is because the first one was such a novelty in terms of like discovering these emotions. But I love the best part about this one is Maya Hawke's anxiety character, fantastic. And the fact that Joy, at the end of Inside Out 1, I rewatched it before watching Inside Out 2. At the end of Inside Out 1, she learns to just accept sadness. That's the main moral lesson. Accepting sadness. You can't like push her away. You need her. And at first, Joy was like, let me just accept anxiety. And they had a good relationship, but she couldn't solve it the same way they did the first one because anxiety took over that Joy role from the first one and ended up kicking out Joy. It was kind of an interesting reversal of fortunes there. So I liked Maya Hawke's there, and Maya Hawke's whole team with Ayo's jealousy character was very cool. Or like not jealousy. Envy. Yeah, same thing. Envy character. They had a whole like squad versus the other squad. It was just very interesting dynamic. But they all still appreciated each other. They just realized they wanted what's best for Riley in completely different ways. And Riley going to the camp, all that kind of like relatable teen, crazy, young childhood drama was really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a blast with this movie. Some people are just starting to like, how is this movie making so much money? Did anybody see this movie? I'm like, anybody like this movie? Like, yes, it's a really good movie. Anyways, yeah.
Even if it doesn't blow you away, this is a very well-made movie.
Yeah, very well-made movie. I came out, had a huge smile on my face. Very funny. The whole toy scene with the Riley's video game character, hilarious.
That was great. He's in PS2 graphic.
Yeah.
Polygons and shit. It's great.
That was amazing. I loved that so much. And then Riley's this is like the 10,000th panic attack across film and TV.
It was a great one.
But it was a great one. Exactly. It was like a lot of panic attacks these days, but it was a great one. I really liked it. Though it was cliche, like it follows a cliche trap of like, oh, I like the popular person, but I can't be with my not so popular friends. Like it's a trope you've seen before in a lot of places, but like other Pixar movies, they go off the cliche very well. It's a cliche because it works.
Yeah.
And on top of like anxiety doing all this crazy shit in her head, kind of the messy, complicated aspects of it all made it really work for me.
I think you're especially like on board with like being against anxiety in general, of course, but being against this character because you're seeing how it's going to be destructive to Riley overall, and we care about Riley.
Yeah, like it really had us connect with Riley in the first movie, and then connect with her in this movie, where you're like with her every step of the way. Joy understands what needs to happen with Riley. Like anxiety, the movie does a good job of having us understand what anxiety wants with Riley, even though it is extremely flawed for Riley. So it made you understand both ways. So it was really cool.
Absolutely.
And visually, it was really cool. There was that one sequence at the end with like the storm and everything going on with the storm of emotions.
Yeah.
The thundercloud sequence. I was like, oh wow! Like for once, I can see where this $200 million is actually going for these Pixar movies.
Render time is what it's the electric bill.
It's crazy. So yeah, Pixar had another good winner. I don't think this means that like we're heading towards Pixar only doing sequels now. I think Pete Docter, while those comments about like Luca and Elemental were not great, I still do think he has the best interest of Pixar at heart, and there will continue to be more original features. Like next year, I think we have Elio. I'm pretty sure that's next year. That's not 2026 anymore.
I think so.
Elio 2025. Yeah, right now it got delayed. It was February and now it's June 2025. And I hope people go watch that so they can support original Pixar. And hopefully this got people used to seeing original Pixar in theaters again.
Yeah.
So yeah. Or just not that it wasn't original, it was a sequel, but got used to people seeing a Pixar movie in theaters again instead of getting used to seeing it in Disney Plus. But that's about it. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, that's it for me. So you guys can find me on Twitter. I think next for us is we finished up our review of Deadpool summer movies. All our commentaries are done, at least for the Fox and Marvel stuff. I think next for us, we're going to do some Sky High commentaries. Or Sky High commentary on one movie.
We're watching it 3 times just to be sure we got it all.
Exactly. The light's going to turn off on us. The roof's going to cave in, and then we're going to have to rewatch it. Just like Nathan did for A Quiet Place. Next time, if there is some major, I think the next major movie news stuff or TV stuff is going to be D23 in a couple weeks. But also, there was some major TV stuff we haven't really talked about. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. There were some cool trailers, like Agatha trailer, the Cap trailer. That's about it for trailer wise. Gladiator 2 trailer, there it is.
There's a new Alien Romulus trailer.
Romulus, you said? Alien?
Yeah, which ended up playing in front of Deadpool Wolverine for me.
It did, me too. I was like, I wasn't going to watch it, but now I'll watch it. I didn't get Joker 2, did you?
I did, actually.
Oh,
I got it in my IMAX, not in my Dolby.
Okay. Maybe it's an IMAX exclusive trailer.
I got a Shaun of the Dead 20th for Dolby.
Me too. I got that as well. But yeah, I didn't get Joker, so I still have not seen the new Joker trailer. So, yay me. But I'll probably see it in front of like Alien or whatever movie comes out this fall. So yeah, if we have enough stuff for like a trailer or movie news day, depending on how many movie news we get, Usually the week after SDCC, there isn't that much movie news. Like so far, it's Tuesday, and there hasn't been much movie news yet. So for the week, so we'll see what happens for our next Michael T when that comes back. But we are doing a commentary on Sky High. Does the Batman Caped Crusader show come out this week?
Potentially.
I think so.
Because they just dropped like a clip of the opening sequence. So I imagine it's about to.
I think that's going to come out. So, and you need to watch My Adventure Superman.
I do.
That was a good season. So we can talk about that and Batman whenever that comes out. But again, you guys can find me on Twitter, HarrisEV9. If you don't like my Big Brother tweets, you can always mute the Big Brother hashtag. But I'm always talking about Big Brother 26, hashtag BB26, along with a lot of anime, which is this summer anime is just so good, especially for rom-coms. It's just brilliant. And then I'm reading and watching, taking in everything Star Wars, and always hashtagging Renew the Acolyte because it needs to happen.
Absolutely.
How about you?
Yes, I concur. Renew the Acolyte. It's my favorite Star Wars show.
Yeah. I mean, D23 is in August 9th or August 8th, whatever. I need an Acolyte renewal. And again, I compared it to Ahsoka. And Ahsoka didn't get that renewal until 2 to 3 months later in January. But that was because they premiered. They didn't have like a D23 event. Yeah. Now they have D23. What is Lucasfilm going to talk about besides Andor, Ahsoka? Maybe they haven't even started filming Ahsoka yet. I don't know. So Lucasfilm, you can announce a renewal of the Acolyte. By the way, they announced a Jackie and Yord young adult novel.
Yeah,
a adult novel with Vernestra and Indara. Right. Indara, and this is 20 years before the Acolyte. An Acolyte visual dictionary? No, Acolyte like a character guide, something like that. For the Acolyte. So
visual dictionary,
something along those, some kind of like encyclopedia-esque book for the Acolyte. So a lot of tie-in stuff was announced for the Acolyte, and I'm just like, give me the art of the Acolyte. That's what it was. All that stuff's coming next July, next June. I'm like, give me all this stuff and announce a sequel. You can't be doing all this big push and then just say, yep, that was it for the Acolyte, guys. Come on. Have some confidence in your show. Just because season 1 didn't have the best views, audiences are slowly coming up to it, and maybe season 2 can blow the roof off of them. So there we go. That's my pitch. Lucasfilm, I know you're watching.
God, if they're watching me. You can follow me _Time Blazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Playing Ben, the Acolyte of Time Blazer.
Probably your Acolyte, anyway.
Okay. He's my Acolyte.
New Valentine's Day card unlocked.
Yes.
That being said, if you enjoyed this, make sure you like button, subscribe, and already ring the bell so you miss future things. Future things and stuff. What fucking we didn't do a specific one topic, just movie reviews and shit. Yeah. Coverage of all things movies and TV. That being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.